How's it going, everyone? My name is Coxie and this is Coxie Tutorials. Today we're going to be doing part 5 in our first person shooter tutorial series, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be making a COD-like iron sights system. Well, I say COD-like, it's basically like every first person shooter ever made, where you will hold down the right mouse button and the gun will move to the middle of the screen, and we'll be able to look through the sights to aim the weapon instead of shooting off the hip like this. So we're going to do that. The gun will move up to the middle here, this red dot will disappear, and we'll also make it so that zooms in a little bit as well, just to add to the effect. So let's get started. What we need to do is click on our pistol and then click on the animation tab if you have one open. If you don't have one, come to this little drop down here, click on it, add tab, animation, and you'll get this animation window. So what we want to do, with our pistol selected, we should have this list of animations that we have on our pistol. So we're going to control the actual movement of the pistol to the middle and back, and also we're going to need to do a shooting animation from the iron sights position, and then we're going to control the zoom through script. Okay, so if we create a new clip, call it iron sights on, and then if we click on the record button here, make sure you do that, we can go to add property, transform position, okay, and then we get our keyframes for the position at 0 and the keyframes for the exactly the same position at 1 second. And don't forget, this position is the position the pistol's in now, this position up here that's in red, the X, Y and Z values. Okay, so we want to start with this position, but we want to end in the middle of the screen. So these two on the end, left click on them so they're blue and then delete, and then we can go to about, that's half a second, just a tiny more than half a second, left click and bring up the white line here, and then we'll do our animation here. Make sure you have selected record, and then here our X position value for the pistol, and don't forget the X is the X axis, the red one that goes horizontally like this, and we are currently 0.141, which means that this circle here, this red dot that we put this exactly in the middle of the screen. So 0.141 is moving to the right of the screen from the middle, and if the gun was moving to the left of the screen, it would be below 0, so a minus value. Okay, so we want to move back to the middle, so we should be able to just put 0 in there, and that should be the middle of the screen. So we've done that, and now our Y position, the Y axis is the green one going up and down, and we're minus at the moment from the middle, so we're down from the middle, we need to come back up a bit, so the number needs to be less than this. So 0.8 is pretty close. We need to go down a little bit more. Minus 0.085 looks pretty good on mine. We can always adjust it, but that's close enough for now. And then the Z, which is the blue axis, which is the forward axis, that's forward and back, that is currently forward a little bit. So I'm just going to bring that back to maybe a bit, yeah, maybe about there, because we are going to add zoom as well, don't forget. So we have the position that we need. This is where the position the gun's going to be in when we hold down the right mouse button. Okay, so what we can do, because we're going to need these values here, because the next animation we do is going to be iron sights off, and that's going to start from here and then go back down to the hip fire position, or this position here. Okay, so if we copy, come up to this little cog up here on the right hand side in the transform and go copy component, and then we just reset this animation, turn the record button off, click on this menu here, create a new clip. I don't think I saved the other animation in the right spot, hang on. So we'll go iron sights off and make sure that we save it animation, weapon anims, pistol. We want to save it in here, and I didn't save the other one in here, which annoys me. So if you go back to project for a second, yeah, it's there. So I'm just going to drag this into the pistol over here. We've got the weapon anims folder, the pistol, drag it in there. So we've got our two iron sights here. Click back on the animation tab, and now what we'll do is we'll click on the pistol for a start, and we'll go back down to our iron sights off clip. An easy way we can do this, because don't forget we copied the values from when the pistol was in the iron sights mode in the middle of the screen. Now we need these values here, which are these ones. So to get them onto the animation straight away, we can just go add property, transform position, and now we have the current transform position, these ones and these ones. So if we just get rid of the first ones, and then we know this is the position we want to finish in, so if we just get these ones and move it to say half a second, that's going to be the finish of the animation. And now we just need to click on the start of the animation, make sure we select record, and then come up here again to the cog and press paste component values, and that's given us our iron sights on animation. So if we click off record now, this animation should start there and finish there. Okay, so I'll just click that back down there to reset it for a second. If we go create another clip, iron sights shoot, iron sight shoot, and save that in the correct folder. So for this one, we can just click the record button, go to the cog, paste the component values in, make sure we're at the start of the clip, because we want to be in this position and we want to be shooting from this position. So now we can do the actual shooting animation. And I'm just going to do it rough, and you guys can, you know, same old stuff. You guys can take as long as you want. So mine, I'm just going to start off, we know that's in the middle of the screen, like that, in our game view. So I'm just going to go to, I'm just going to stretch this out a bit because it's not going to be long. We're probably going to go to like that at the most, I would say. You can just check how long we made the other ones if you want as well, but I don't really care that much at the moment. I just want to get it all working. So at about here, if we go to the pistol and go to trigger, make sure we're recording, don't forget, and up here where it says center and local, change that to pivot, because we want to rotate this from the pivot point. So if you press E to bring up the rotation tool, we can just pivot that to there, rotate it to there I should say, and then if you go back to the start, we can just get the trigger's actual transform here again, go copy component, this is the start frames, and then here's where we pull the trigger back, and then say here we want the trigger to be back where it was before, so we can just go paste component values there, it snaps it back, and here where we pull the trigger back, we probably want to do the hammer as well, so you can choose the hammer, It's set on pivot as well, which is good. And we can, well, first of all, let's just copy the hammer's transform, its original transform, copy that, and then we can rotate it back here. Okay, and here, by the time the trigger snaps back, we'll have the hammer paste them original values we had of it to snap back there. And then when the hammer comes back, we want the slide, say it about here, and click on the slide, and we'll get the slides component, transform component as well, and then just press W and we can slide this back to about there, it's fine. And then at this one here, we can just paste them back in. Okay, so that should be fine. So let's just make sure, we'll just quickly fine tune it and then we'll do some coding. So we start there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the original values of the hammer, like of the slide, sorry, because the slide's actually moving back like it always does too soon. So if I do every frame and just go paste component values there, and then when it gets here, if I don't forget we're doing the slide only, the slide, paste component values there. If I do it again here, paste component values there. So then the slide shouldn't move until the hammer actually strikes, okay? So that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that for me. And what we need to do first of all is we need to go to our animations, weapon animations, pistol, and we need to make sure we remember to turn off loop time, because I always forget loop time on the 3 animations we just made. Turn off loop time, and now we need to go to our animator. If you don't have the animator here, you just need to double click on your pistol animator controller and it will open this up, okay? So here's our new, oh no it's not, here's our new clips that we made. We've got this one, and this one. So what we'll do is we will put the shooting one up here, and then if we just leave these two here, go to parameters, and we'll do a boolean, and we'll say iron sights on, okay, and then we'll do a trigger, and we'll say iron sights shoot, and we can just say from any state we can make a transition to iron sights shoot. That one there, that one there. So we want to call the trigger, which is iron sights shoot, from this transition from any state to iron sights shoot, and then from iron sights shoot we want to make a transition to iron sights off. Don't want exit time. This should be iron sights on but false. So we shoot from the iron sights position when it's already on, and then we when iron sights is off, we transition straight to iron sights off. From the idle position, we want to be able to go to our iron sights. So we'll say no exit time, and we'll say iron sights on equals true. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's pissing down with rain here. It's awesome. So we have iron sights on to iron sights off. That has no exit time, and we want that to be iron sights on is false. So from idle to iron sights on is true, and then when iron sights on is false, we go back to off, and then from off we need to transition back to idle. I think, yeah, we're gonna have to transition to somewhere. So idle, yeah. So we'll just have exit time, and we'll just do it like really small, say 0.000. You can do it even smaller than that if you want, like 0. You know, have like 5 zeros for all I care, 6 zeros, I don't care. That's pretty fast transition though. So I think just double check any state to iron side shoot. We call the trigger, and then after the trigger, if this is false, we transition to iron sights off. From idle to that one is true, down to there is false, and then back again. Okay. We will soon see if it actually will work. Now we need to write some code. So go into your scripts, gun scripts, pistol script, and what we'll do is down the bottom here, you can see that I've tried to organize the variables and some of the code by using you know, notes that I've put in. So you can also do it so that in your actual inspector, like just say for your pistol inspector, you can actually put headings here and organize all of your variables in there. So to do that, you just go open close square brackets and then write header, and then open close parentheses, and in the quotation marks you can say something like iron sights, and then underneath this we can say public bool iron sights on equals false, and we're going to need to access our red dot sight or our crosshair. So that's there. So we could just do a public game object and call it crosshair. And then I'll save that and I'll just show you what this looks like. If you go out, wait for it to load, and click on our pistol, you'll see now we have a little heading here called iron sights. There's our boolean, and here it's asking for our crosshair, so we may as well just drag our crosshair into there now. And go back into the code. Alright, so let's just concentrate to start off with to get the actual functionality of moving the gun to the middle of the screen in the iron sights position. So if you copy this line of code here in update, and then Control V and paste that, we can say if get button, and we're going to do get button down, and then we're going to change fire 1 to fire 2. We don't need to worry about if we've got ammo, because this is just going to enable us to look through the sights of our gun. We're going to get rid of the shoot function. So if this happens, we want to make this true. So iron sights on equals true, because we are in iron sights mode. We also want crosshair dot set active to be false. Oops, to be false. And we also want to play the animation, of course. So anim dot set bool, and it's, what do we call it? Iron sights on, I suppose. I've tried to keep it consistent. Iron sights on and true. So let's just double check that. Iron sights on, iron sights on. So make sure you spell it exactly the same as what you've spelled it here, otherwise it won't work. That's true, and then we can just copy all this, paste it here, and we can change if to else if, and then we can say if input get button up, fire to, and this will all just be the opposite. So this will be false, this will be true, and this will be false. Okay, so that will bring our gun to the middle of the screen, and then so basically with this I've done get button down, because if I just left that get button's when you just hold the mouse button down. If we did it so it was just get button, you would be holding the right mouse button down and it would just keep calling this code over and over again because you are holding it down. Whereas if we do it this way, you still have to hold the button down, because if you don't hold the right mouse button down, as soon as you let it go up, it changes to this code here. Okay, so it works the same as just holding the right mouse button down, but without having to worry about calling this code over and over and over again. Okay, so that's a good way to do it, I think. So we've done that. That controls that. Now we need to actually control. Yeah, we need to make it so it knows when we're actually in iron sights mode, and this is where we call our shoot. This is our shoot function. So shoot, if we call this one hip fire, and then we copy this whole function here, copy, paste it underneath and call it shoot iron, oh, caps lock on, iron sights, and then we can just say iron sights. So this is our normal shoot function, and it calls the trigger, our shoot trigger in the animation, but we want to change our iron sights one to the new trigger we made, which was the iron sights one. So yeah, iron sights shoot, this one here. Okay, we need to spell it exactly the same as that. So iron sights shoot, save that. And what we need to do now is go up here. So we don't want to do our normal shooting off the hip unless we're not in iron sights mode. So when this boolean is false, okay? So we'll say and exclamation mark, so is not iron sights on, and then we'll just copy this, Control V, and make this one else if, and just take away the exclamation mark, because we want to do the iron sights shoot, this one here, when iron sights is on, of course. So paste that one there, save it. So this should enable us to know when iron sights is on and when to do our hip fire and when to do our iron sights fire. Okay, so that should be all good. Let's have a look. just save the game. If we go into the game and hold down right mouse button, we go into iron sights mode, we can shoot. Aha. Okay, yeah, we can shoot, and then we let go of the right mouse button and we go back to hip fire. And our sound and our muzzle flash miraculously work again, and that is because, if I remember rightly, I think we did, let me have a look, shoot, yes, we used animation events to control our eject casing and our muzzle flash and pistol sound. So what we're just going to have to do, which is really easy, first of all, let's just clear something up here. So where are they? Okay, yeah, these three. I've actually labeled them. Called through animation, okay? I would have done it like that because I knew I would have forgotten. So you can label these as well because they're animation events, okay? So called through animation, and what we can do is we can click on the pistol, go back to iron sight shoot, have a look at our gun so we know which one's doing what. So here, oi, goes back, okay, that's where we should have sound. So if you go to here, add event, and then come up here and choose pistol sound and muzzle flash, and then at here, yeah, when the slide comes back, that's when we want to make another animation event, and this one needs to be eject casing, and that should fix the issue. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so that's all well and good. Now we needed to do some kind of zoom in effect. So what we're going to do is, our main camera is on our first person controller, and we're going to use this. We're going to use the field of view, and I don't know if it's a good idea to use the main camera because we probably will need to add a weapon camera at some stage. If you guys know what a weapon camera is, I'll say a fair few of you would. And we'll use a weapon camera to stop our gun like clipping through walls and things like that. But for now, let's just set it up like this so you guys can see how you would do it. And on our camera we have our field of view, and you can see it's on 60 at the moment. If I move that down, we zoom in. If I move it up, we zoom out, okay? So the standard value for it is 60 usually. And what we're going to do is we're going to our pistol script, and we're going to need, okay, under our iron sights heading, we'll say camera, and we'll just call it main cam so we know it's the main camera. And then in start, I believe we can just say, you used to be able to just say main cam equals camera, the big camera dot main. That used to work, so we shall see. As long as the camera you're using is the actual main camera, because the main camera, as you'll see, it's actually tagged as main camera, okay? So you can only do this if you're using the main camera. If you use any other camera, you'll need to actually access that camera. Like you could say something like, don't call it main camera because it's probably not your main camera if you're using a different one. Just call it your camera, and then in here, instead of saying get main camera, we'd say something like, well, for our instance, we're calling it from the pistol script, So we will need to get the component camera in our parent. Okay, so if we said get component in parent, that should access the camera for us that way. Say it here is what I meant. So we're going to get hold of our main camera, and then once we've got that, we can just say here, we can say, what can we say? We can say, I'm so crap at doing lerps, I always forget how to write it. I know what I need to do, but I always forget how to actually write it, so we shall see. Main cam dot field of view equals mathf dot lerp, and then we need our, oh yeah, we're going to need some values in here. So we need it says floats. We don't really need to use floats because all we need is, we want this position, like the 60 in the field of view, and then we also want another variable that stores the value of the amount we want to zoom in. So say 30. We'll do that for now so that we can see what's going on. So we'll just go, we'll just try this. We'll just go int say FOV normal, so field of view normal equals 60, and then we'll just say int field of view iron sight equals 30. And with a lerp, you can use a float to kind of smooth the values, like, because we're going to move from 60 to 30 here when we turn our iron sights on, but we need a value to smooth it out so that it's not just like 60 to 30, and we want it to just zoom in gradually. Okay, so we can just say float smooth zoom equals 3. Try that. So in here we can say main cam dot field of view FOV normal, and then we want the FOV iron sight, and then our smoothing. So we want to write smooth zoom, and we can times that by time dot delta time, and this will make sure it moves at the smoothing's the same speed for everyone regardless of your frame rate. So I've done something wrong. Equals main cam field of view I think, yeah, like that. Sorry, I didn't need the other value. We're just moving from where it is now to this one by the smooth zoom. Okay, so yep, that will work. And then we'll go copy that, put this one in here, and then instead of the iron sights one, we'll just do the normal one. That Control S should work. So Go into our game. It kind of does, but it's not working properly. Field of view iron sights. Let's take that up 6 or something. I think I've just written it wrong. As I said, I usually know what I want to do, but actually writing it how you're supposed to write it properly, I sometimes just forget the syntax is all. We can look it up. So it's not working. Okay, of course it's not working because we're just... Alright. Sorry guys. The reason why it's not working is because we're just calling it when we press the button down, so it's only calling this once. This needs to be called an update function because we're smoothing it with time.delta time. So let's cut that out and say we'll do an if statement here. We'll say if iron sights on is equal to true, or just say if iron sights on, it's exactly the same thing. So if that's true, then we want to add that line of code there. If iron sights on, let's have a look. There you go. That's better. Oh, okay. Same thing. Same thing for the other one. Take that off. Cut that out. And then we can just say else if is not iron sights on. Save that. And now it should go back the other way as well. Just make this bigger. Maximize it, I should say. Okay, so now we zoom in like that through our sights and let it go and we're back to normal. Okay, so you can do yours however you want. We can adjust all these values now. It's all set up. I won't make the tutorial go any longer, but I think we covered quite a fair bit in that tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So yeah, thanks all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.